What's up guys, my name's Dante and thank you very much for watching this video. I want to get right into today's topic because this is something that will absolutely change your life. If you just give it a shot and practice it with persistence, it will absolutely change the way you look at all activities in your life. What do I mean by activities? Well, first, I want to ask you to just take a second and think about something you do on a regular basis that before you do it, you're filled with thoughts of it could be anxiety or really not excited about going to do it, but you know that you have to. So I feel like I don't need to give too much time for that because the truth is that this is something we think about often, right? It's the activity we do on a regular basis that we're not excited to do. This is at the forefront of most people's minds. And so when I ask the question to find what that is, it doesn't take too much time because it's already in there. And for the purposes of this video and for the reason that this is the thing that most people dread or do not look forward to doing is work. Most often people are not excited to go to work, and this is my experience with the people that I talk to. They say, I wake up in the morning and the first thing I think about if they work in the morning is how they're not excited to go to work, how they wish they didn't have to go to work. And this was interesting to me because I know that a lot of people spend most of their time working, or a large majority of their time working, on average 40 hours a week if you work a full-time job. And so if for 40 hours a week you're doing something that you don't like to do, well, that's interesting to me because my purpose and what I'm trying to do is to bring fullness to our lives, to have everything we do be exciting or to at least interest us. I guess at the very least, to not dread it. And so it reminds me of when I was younger and how I was introduced to this principle. My mom was somebody who always was trying to get me to try different foods from different cultures. She was always trying to get me to have something new. And I remember that I was disgusted by the food before I even tasted it. And I'm sure most people can relate to this. Right? Before we even have broccoli or before we even have spinach, we're not interested in it. And some kids will cry and throw fits and be so bent out of shape over having to try something that they don't want. And when it became interesting is when I got older and realized that I really liked all foods now. There was something exciting about all foods. And so I sat back and I had to think, what was it that changed? It was either the food changed or I changed. And I realized very quickly that the food never changed. It tasted the same as it did when I was younger. Therefore, I was left with one option, and that was that something about me changed to where I now liked the food that I was disgusted by in the past. And I was interested and realized that the only thing that really changed was the way I thought about the food. And obviously it didn't happen overnight. It took me quite a few years because, this is probably a 10-year period when I was, 15, 16, 5 or 6, and then being, 15, 16, 17, realizing that, I had an interest in all different kinds of food. I was really excited to try new things and enjoyed trying the things that I used to be disgusted by. So it was my thinking that changed. And I realized that, and I kind of put that in the back of my mind and started going through life. And then I had this experience where I was spending 40 hours a week, waking up and going to work. But I remember waking up thinking, I had to go to work today. I'm not excited about it. I have to deal with my coworkers, and I have to deal with the customers, and I have to deal with all of these things that I really just didn't want to do. And so I put that in the back of my mind and went, for a period of time working 40 hours a week, doing something I didn't like to do. And then I had this experience where I was attending a group. A group and I would get together, and it was something that was recommended for me that I was doing on a regular basis that I didn't really like to in the beginning. Because I would always think about the work that I had to do to get there, the work that I had to do once I was there. But there was something about this meeting. It's just like the gym. I felt better after every time. I felt really good after every time I went and put myself into the gym or into one of these meetings. And so I decided to try something. I decided that every time I thought about going to work, I was going to think about the one thing that I really liked about work immediately. And this started off, the next day I would wake up for work, and still the first thought was all the things that I had to deal with that I didn't want to deal with, that I wasn't interested in doing. But then I remembered what I told myself, and so I immediately thought about the thing I liked about work. And I did this over and over again until one day I woke up and that first thought wasn't there. It went straight to the thing that I liked about work. So I'm asking you to think, if you're looking to be interested in working again and to enjoy what you're doing in life, think about the one thing you really like about it. And if nothing else, if you're having a really hard time finding something you like about work, think about why you work. Most of us work for a paycheck. That one thing. It's all you need to think about. And once we do, we begin to create a culture in our minds that is, I am grateful to work. I am excited to go to work. Right? Because my first thought changed, and immediately my brain was thinking about why I wanted to go to work and not why I was avoiding it or thinking about something else I could be doing. And I'll tell you that even after I forced myself to think about the thing that I enjoyed about work, immediately all of those thoughts came in behind it. So when you start practicing it, know that that is part of the process, but eventually, after we're mindful of the thoughts we're having, when we think about work, what immediately follows is the gratitude and the happiness and excitement. This tool has the power to change your whole life, because I quickly realized that all the things I liked in life and all the things I didn't like in life had nothing to do with those actual things and had everything to do with the way I thought about them. Which means that if I can understand my mind and figure out how to label things. Because there's nothing about a thing in itself that I don't like. It's only the way I judge it, only how I label it. Once I label something as being something that I like, it is that thing. Not immediately, and like I said, it's kind of a process, but it's a valuable process to learn. I imagine two people working the same job, and actually I don't have to imagine it because I've had this experience where two people have the same job. They don't work together, but they do the same thing, and one person is so happy to have work. They're so excited to go to work every day, not to do the hard work and not because afterwards they're sore every day and their knees hurt, but because it allows them the opportunity to provide for themselves and their family. And then I look at the other person who has the same opportunity to enjoy work because it allows him that opportunity, but decides to focus on how his knees hurt and his back's going to hurt after work. And these are all very real struggles. I'm not trying to downplay that. That is unfortunate. But at the same time, the opportunity is there to enjoy what they're doing 40 hours out of the week. Two people, same exact job. There's nothing different about the job. The only thing that changes is the way we think. So if you never want to feel unexcited about going to work, or if you never want to feel like you wish you worked somewhere else, and you desire to feel excited about going and interested, try this. And it doesn't happen overnight, but if you're persistent, it will work. Absolutely change your life. Thank you very much for watching this video, and we'll see you next time.